Good morning, everybody. Today, we will be talking about Illumination Entertainment. Illumination Entertainment is a company that has created a large number of films, many of which had a great impact and fame, such as The Lorax, Despicable Me, and The Secret Life of Pets. Their films are aimed at children and consist of comedy, adventure, and fantasy films. However, they have been criticized for the lack of pioneering spirit, as they focus on creating a product for profit rather than focusing on a plot or artistic value.
Illumination Entertainment Studio was founded in 2007 by Chris Melandari. He started in the early 90s at Disney and worked as a producer. This gave him experience, and a few years later, he moved to the 20th Century Fox to be an executive producer in the animation department. He had a big role in Blue Sky Studio that Fox acquired in the 1998 and contributed in Ice Age 2002. With a huge success it had, then later on contributed other films such as Robots 2005. However, he left the company to make his own company. In 2008, Chris made a contract with Universal Studios in which the studio would get exclusive distribution rights and Illumination Studio would get the creative control. When they released the first feature film called Despicable Me, released in 2010, the studio had former Blue Sky Studio artists contributing to the film, and then later on, other iconic films. Illumination is well known to have contracts with independent studios to help them with their film. So, for Despicable Me was animated by a French visual effects studio called MacGuff, which specializes in 3D animation. Then, in 2011, Illumination acquired the animation department of MacGuff, which is now known as Illumination MacGuff. The studio is responsible for the Illumination film production.
Most of the films created by Illumination Entertainment share many characteristics in common. Today, I will be speaking about the similarities in aesthetics. For this, I will be comparing the films Despicable Me, The Secret Life of Pets, Sing, and The Lorax. Visually, Illumination films share the use of colors and stylized features. Most films look like they could be set in the same universe. In terms of color, these films share vibrant hues that grab the attention of the viewer. In the film Despicable Me, the minions play a great part in the story and have amassed great fame for the film. These creatures are bright yellow color contrasted with blue, which in the color wheel are opposites. This contrasting of colors makes them stand out from the background and helps the viewer being engaged. This type of color use is seen in other Illumination films as well. In The Secret Life of Pets, the main character Max is a white dog with brown spots and a big black nose. This black nose contrasts with his white fur and brings the viewer attention to his face. The pets in this film are mostly made of one color or two-color fur. This makes them more identifiable to the viewer and helps give them their unique personality. They did something similar with Sing. They focus on giving their main color to each animal, playing also with clothes to give contrast. They made it clear that reptiles are green, pigs are pink, and elephants are grey. As for the Lorax, it's not simply the same, but it's a similar approach. They use bright colors for the main things, such as the trees with pink, orange, and yellow. The Wansler has a big contrast of greens, grey, and white, and obviously the Lorax, with an eye-catching orange. But for the secondary characters, they use a brown to blend with the background. The big eyes, round big head, and small torso is used also in the other films to give the sense of cute and innocent. The Secret Life of Pets is a great example for stylized features. It is easy to tell who is cute, who is grumpy, and who is smart. This is also the case for the Lorax. They give the Lorax a big mustache to make him bossy and grumpy, and the other animals big eyes and small features to make them innocent and helpless. In conclusion, the similarities in the movies help the audience recognize the studio. It also creates a lively and bright environment for the films to take place in, as well as creates attention-grabbing characters. However, it made some viewers criticize the company due to the fact that these films are years apart from each other, but really different in style. They played it safe and didn't try to revolutionize their ideas.
In recent years, Illumination have produced films like Grinch, another film adaptation of the Dr. Seuss book, and other continuations of the adventures of Gru and his minions, as well as movies based on household pets. The Secret Life of Pets is an American 3D animated comedy film produced by Illumation Studios. The premiere in the United States took place on July 8, 2016. A terrier named Max lives with its owner Cathy at an apartment in Manhattan. While she works, he communicates with the other pets in the building. One day, Cathy adopts the Duke's mutt. Enraged by Max's behavior, Duke tries to dump Max in an alley. But they are both attacked by cats led by Ozone, who removes their collars and leaves them in animal control. The Duke fears that he will be killed if he returns to the pond. When Giget, who is in love with Max, discovers that he is missing, decides to find him. Film Grinch was released in 2018, based on the book by Dr. Seuss. As a grumpy introvert, he lives in a gloomy cave on top of a mountain, away from everyone. But these people are preparing the grandest celebration of the new year. They make noise, decorate everything, and make Grinch mad. The Grinch decides to steal the Christmas. The film itself, even if it wasn't a critical success, it certainly was a financial one, accumulating over $500 million worldwide. Despicable Me in the sequel, Gru completely gave up on crime, joined the anti-villain league, and married his partner Lucy. The box office of over $970 million. The second Despicable Me prompted the authors to think about the third part and, in between, draw a full-length Minions film. The studio is in no financial trouble as it is able to accumulate massive amounts of money from their films and are currently working on bringing new films in the next few years. The film Sing 2 was announced not so long ago and is going to be released in December of this year. It has been many years since the koala Optimus Buster made all the animal people of the city sing at his musical talent contest. A pig named Rosita managed to win many song contests but could not find a record label to become famous as a professional singer. Universal has decided to postpone the animated feature film Minions: Rise of Gru. The reason is obvious: because of the coronavirus pandemic. No one will see the new cartoons. However, the Illumination staff did not have time to finish their work on time, and in any case due to the quarantine. The Illumination Studio, together with Universal Pictures, presented their trailer of the animated film Secret Life of Pets 2. It looks like Captain Snowball will take the entire film.
Let's talk now about their films. Despicable Me, released in July 2010, was Illumination's first feature film. Distributed by Universal Pictures, the film, as you may already know, it's about a villain named Gru and how he wants to be the best villain of all time by stealing the moon. In the process, he adopts 3 orphans who he grows close to and eventually becomes their full-time father. This movie gave the studio a really good start. It was a big success in the 3D animation industry. Being a low-budget film, done with $69 million, it had a worldwide box office of more than $543 million. The characters of the Minions became really popular and had a lot of merchandising. Kids around the world loved them, and soon the studio started working on a sequel. Critics say that even if the film is as sugary as the following ones will be, it's still the best movie of the studio and has the best story plot of all of them. Hop, released in April 2011, was their second film, and until the moment, their only one combining CGI and live action. It was released at the time of the overload CGI creator-centered family films such as Mr. Popper's Penguins, The Smurfs, and Alvin and the Chipmunks. However, it was a huge flop. The movie, starring James Marsden and Russell Brand, is about the teenage successor of the Easter Bunny, who wants to become a drummer, but on his way to Hollywood, he gets hit by Fred's car. The film was produced with $63 million, and despite being their least successful movie until the date, it still made a worldwide box office of more than $188 million. Their third feature film was a Dr. Seuss story, adapted as a film. This wasn't the first one though. Before, Blue Sky released Horton Hears the Who in 2008. Illumination bought some rights for his stories and came up with the lyrics in 2012. The film has an environmental message, and due to its big campaign, it made more than $350 million. Again, as all Illumination films, it was a low-budget production and this one only cost 67.5 million. Still, the film is pretty boring and again, it's seen as an okay film like the previous one was. It is qualified to be the second worst film of the studio after Hope. Next came the studio's first sequel to their first movie and biggest hit, Despicable Me 2, in 2013. The film exceeded expectations by a long shot, almost making $1 billion at the box office, and still being a low-budget production of 76 million. This made clear how this franchise was the studio's flagship, and it became a titan in the world of 3D animation. The story wasn't as good as the first, but it wasn't terrible either. It was just average, which would become the theme for Illumination. The studio continued until now with the same techniques, producing low-budget films with a maximum of $80 million with a lot of advertisement and merchandising that had huge box office. The studio likes to play it safe, so the stories continue to be ranked as average, all being super sugary and family-friendly with lots of colors and good visuals. Their fifth and biggest hit was their Minions release in 2015, again from the Despicable Me franchise. Done with 74 million, they exploded the box office with more than $1 billion and became extremely popular with both kids and adults. Minions merchandising was everywhere, despite the movie being based entirely in what we would call fart jokes. It is nowadays ranked as the fifth highest grossing CGI film and its fame can be compared with Frozen. However, with that success also came some hate, and some people critiqued on how annoying they are and how they're a copy of Toy Story's Aliens. In 2016, the studio released two more movies. First, The Secret Life of Pets, again, a cute family-friendly movie with an average story produced with a low budget with a huge box office. This film was criticized as a copy for Toy Story but worse, since the story doesn't attach the audience to any character. This movie still had a huge success and they later produced a sequel, converting it into their second franchise. In the same year, they released Sing, a musical, with the same formula as always and a lot of popular voice actors and pop songs. Next, they released their second highest grossing animated film, again from the Despicable Me franchise, its third sequel, in 2017. This film was produced with the same amount of money as the last two, this being 75 million, and it hit the billion in the box office, without counting the money they were still producing with a huge amount of merchandising. In 2018, they released their second Dr. Seuss story, The Grinch. The studio played it safe and kept the protagonist softer, less mean, for what it was a bit criticized. Still, the visuals were stunning, the advertisement was everywhere, and they still gained money with it. It cost 75 million again, and it produced around $500 million. Lastly, they've produced the sequel we already talked about, The Secret Life of Pets 2, in 2019. Which had their highest production cost of 80 million and produced around 446 million. Apart from their 8 feature films, Illumination Entertainment also released 19 short films since 2017. They haven't won any Oscar yet, but their Despicable Me franchise has been nominated several times in Golden Globes, Academy Awards, Annie Awards, and many more.
Now we're gonna talk about the influence of Illumination Studios. Illumination Studios has proven that you can make an eye-catching animated film on a relatively low budget, fast production and with big profits. At Pixar and DreamWorks Animation, unlike Illumination Studios, there has always been an abundance of high-budget productions. In Pixar's case, all productions have cost between 150 million and 200 million. Similarly, DreamWorks Animation has made mostly 130 million and 175 million films since 2006. Also, almost all of Disney's animated films have cost between 100 million and 260 million. Despicable Me cost 69 million to make. The Secret Lives of Pets cost 75 million, Lorax cost 70 million, The Grinch cost 75 million, and Sing cost 75 million, which is not necessarily a small budget, but is considerably cheaper compared to the other studios, within the 63 million to 80 million range. While the films themselves are not always loaded, the studio knows how to make movies cheaply and quickly, producing quick turns and high profits. That's because Illumination Studios opts for a more conservative approach, as they want to play safe, keep it simple, and make it cheap. As a result, we have seen more animated films made on tighter budgets and with very strong marketing strategies. This mindset has apparently been adopted in certain films by other studios. For example, Abominable, which came out of DreamWorks Animation with a 75 million budget. Likewise, The Addams Family came out of Paramount Pictures and cost a mere 24 million, which, unlike other films like Flushed Away from the same studio, cost 149 million and grossed less than 25 million than the former. Despite being able to discuss the possible lack of quality in Illumination Studios films, they make a lot of money due to their abundant marketing techniques. The TV commercials and promos for Despicable Me and Minions, for example, resemble the Looney Tunes style that entertains children and endears them to the characters, making them want to see more of them. This approach has been carried over to other studios, which have made films that are more cuddly and appealing to children while cleverly marketing their main concepts. An example would be DreamWorks Animation's The Boss Baby. Illumination Studios also focuses more on comedy and their characters than the narrative itself. It's a simple way to avoid a complex story but still keep the audience entertained, which are kids. Illumination Studios, however, has been a good reference, and several studios seem to have borrowed the Despicable Me template, which is the most popular for their movies, such as Hotel Transylvania, The Boss Baby, The Emoji Movie, and even they themselves have reused it with Minions or The Secret Life of Pets.